All right, I'm back. This is Justin. This is AF for the Masses, doing some vibe coding of my indie game, Story of Someone. And I'm back for a second time today because I ended up making good progress on a bug that I was fighting yesterday, where the NPCs were not successfully accomplishing their pathfinding, and looks like we found the problem. It's like I like to say, Daddy ChatGPT came in and saved the day. So here's one thing that I have noticed is just kind of discovered on my own, based on the workflow that I currently have, is that Gemini is wonderful because it can handle quite an extensive code base and has a huge context window. And even though you could end up having 30, 40 rounds of talking to Gemini, and it might eventually start kind of getting a little confused, you can give it a huge file with like 500,000 tokens, and it'll get it, and so you can mess with large code bases, and it does a pretty good job. However, ChatGPT's O3, and not the O3 Pro, so at the time of this stream, O3 Pro has recently become available, and I have seen how the Pro version of O3 does seem to be even more intelligent than the Plus version of O3. And I only have the Plus subscription. But it just seems to handle problem solving a little bit better than Gemini does. So I didn't even give ChatGPT O3 my entire code base, and it just like nailed it on finding me a solution to the problem. So that was incredibly impressive that it understood, just based on the 4 files. I think it was actually 5 files. Let's see, yeah, these 5 files out of my entire code base, it figured out what the most likely reason was for my pathfinder not working. It was this right here. It was the A-star algorithm needing to basically work its way through the tiles to find the shortest path to a goal. And if you know something about how A-star algorithms work, this might make some sense. I think it's a little beyond the scope of the stream. I don't want to go into the details. Like maybe one day if I start making like videos about specific concepts, I could bring that up, but I could do a video about it. But the idea was, like, you can see here in the screen on a 60 by 60 tile size map, the worst case breadth first expansion would need 3,600 nodes to work through. So if it was like corner to corner and it was having to go through every single iteration, you may have to look at every single tile to get a solution. And it's like, add a few detours and you blow past 2,000 easily. When that happens, the loop exits and returns null. So that's why I was getting these no path scenarios, because the destination was just too far away for 2,000 iterations of tiles, searching through the tiles. And so all I had to do was just raise the number. Now I raised it to like 6,000. That's just so I can avoid maybe having this situation happen again, even if I make the map bigger. I'm going to try and kind of keep a note about this particular line in the code and how later debugging, because you never know, I may not touch this concept again for weeks or months, and I might forget about this particular setting in the code in this method here. So yeah, I'll try my best to remember that this is a thing that exists. And but yeah, ChatGPT nailed it. I mean, on the just that little bit of context, this one attempt, it came up with a bunch of different hypotheses, but that was the one that fixed it. So I tested it out many times, and it seems I didn't get any no paths. At least not that I couldn't explain. There was one situation where I was missing a building. I was missing a residence building. And that's because it wouldn't fit. So I was thinking about possibly adding a little bit more robustness to the town generation logic, but it's kind of like not that big of a deal right now. I think I'd rather, instead of trying to optimize things, because I kind of feel like making it where it's robust enough to detect that it failed placing a building is just like, it's not really the low hanging fruit right now of things I should be worried about. However, there was one thing about the building generation that I think it would probably be which file would it be? Not town context, it's like the town layout generator. Okay, so it has this building padding setting here, and it says that no building, this is the minimum tiles between buildings, so buildings have to have at least one tile gap of floor so that we can pass between two buildings. I'd like to keep it that way for now, just to avoid any unforeseen issues. However, I also would like to have a maximum. So I'm going to come back, and how many tokens into this chat am I? Okay, we're already 250,000 in, so I'm going to go ahead and start a new chat with Gemini. I'm going to reconsolidate my code. Where is it? Right here. And then we're going to start another conversation. And what I want to do is where's it at? Sorry, I'm doing this off screen here. Consolidated files. Yep, that is recent. Okay, and then my coding rules for the AI, and then turn my temperature down to 0. So I always do those three things. So I want to make a maximum. I'm even going to refer to the file just to kind of help it out. So town layout generator. Yeah, in the town layout generator, there is a setting for the minimum distance between buildings. Would it be possible, and would it make sense to have a maximum building padding setting as well? I would like to have control over the distances, or the density of the towns. Yeah, so so if I have a minimum, meaning the closest they can be, and I have a maximum, the furthest away they can be, I also wouldn't mind in the future having a no, that's it. That's all I really need. And then I can kind of control the density of the buildings. So that would be nice in my random seed as this game gets closer to being procedurally generated in ways that I'm trying to create like a mood or a culture or a vibe to a town. Like maybe a town is very sparse, very spread out. I can make like the minimum padding is like 20 tiles between buildings and make the town's footprint like really big, things like that. So I think that would be fun, and then I could have a really dense city where the buildings are just like right up against each other, stuff like that. But let's go ahead and run that and stop rambling and actually get that thing processing, because it's got to read this entire consolidated files. Usually my first run of giving it the code base is the longest, because it's got to read that whole thing. But yeah, so I have it pretty quiet, but maybe in the background you're able to kind of hear some of the music that's playing. That's my AI generated music. That it's kind of like my placeholder music for the game, just like I have placeholder art. And I want to get good at drawing my own art as needed. I talked about this in a previous stream that I actually want my art to follow a color theory um, pattern, or kind of like color theory, like algorithm kind of way of drawing things, and so that way I can create different moods, cold and warm moods, light and dark scenes and things, but still kind of procedurally generate the art in certain ways. So I'll be doing my own art as needed, but I don't think I'll ever be really doing my own music. I think the idea of becoming a makeshift like composer is, I mean, I'm previously a musician. I love music. I know a lot about music theory, but not so much that I want to actually like compose my own songs. So I'll probably hire somebody at some point. But to at least kind of play around with different moods and things like that, generated a whole bunch of AI songs in Suno and Udio. I like both of those programs for very different reasons. The quality's not that great as far as the sound, so I that's why I probably won't use most, if any, at least at the current state of the art. Like sometimes the instruments sound distorted, or the drums are kind of muddy, and they just don't hit very hard. So could go better. It's doing this thing again where it doesn't like include the beginning of the code. I'm gonna take a snapshot of this and say like, hey, why are you doing this? Like that code should be included with the other code. Like, I've noticed that sometimes the code is not together in the same window during your output. Could you like it's kind of word I want to put, like the opposite of segregate, like consolidate. There you go. Consolidate. Could you consolidate the code in the same window for me to copy and paste? Paste from now on. As soon as I actually successfully get this to stop happening after it starts happening, then I'll probably add that into my coding instructions. But no, I'll just deal with it. Okay, so let's start with this. Honestly, oh yeah, it is going to change more than just one line, because that one, this building padding is going to also be called, so as maximum building padding. There's going to be new methods that are going to be calling for that. So, all right, I'll go ahead and process this, and let's copy and paste the rest of this file. Hopefully, okay, yeah, it's still doing that. I mean, it leaves that other bracket outside also. So weird. Okay, I mean, nothing I can't deal with, but I hope it doesn't print out all the code again. It's gonna print out all the code again, like always does. All right, let's see. So maximum padding is 4. I'm gonna make the maximum padding 2. I really wanna kind of bring things in. And this should dramatically reduce the chances of having a building not get generated if this succeeds at having the effect that I'm looking for of tightening up the town. So there'll probably be a lot of like roads that are just kind of like right between the buildings. I wonder visually how that's going to play out. Okay. Yeah, look at how nice and close things are. So I definitely like this. Okay, yes. The next thing I want to do, because this is just an easy fix. It's unnecessary for there to be for the what you call it, the the shopkeeper can't get to the large shops. He can't get behind the counter. I just realized sometimes the pathfinding for the shops, and then you go around to the front of the counter. So he's gonna leave the shop, go all the way around the outside. If I make my idea was to make a back door. I wonder if I should just make two side doors so you can just go out, come back in. It's like a little employee access. I think I'm gonna do that because he's gonna want to come around to the front regardless. Um, so maybe just make it where you can come in, come out. Yeah. Okay, that's the next thing I'm gonna do. But the maximum distance between buildings is working. Did I have any unsuccessful town generation? Oh, sorry, not town, but buildings being made here. Uh, so I think it worked. Now, if I go into night mode, let's just check that since I'm here. Okay. Oh, did I actually do it? Yes, yes. The paths are all going to the beds. All right. Okay, so this is the N. Oops, sorry. Oh, now it's daytime again. As soon as you leave the town, it goes to daytime. Sorry, I'm not too concerned about that. It's not like I'm going to be toggling day and night off during the game. This is all just testing. So the idea is that everybody will get to a bed, and I believe if I saw the terminal output, there should be one extra bed space. So I think this guy here got a big house, but is single. So I got to be careful not to go below the road there. Should also add like a boundary indicator. And I'm pretty sure everybody's in their beds. And then if I go daytime again, everybody comes out. Yep. Okay. I'm not too worried about the art assets and things at this stage. All right. I am happy. I want to change this door situation. Because I mean, it's an easy fix. It'd be kind of fun. Let's do it. So it sees my whole code. I don't need to give it just my building generator sandbox. It does know about this generator sandbox. So in this section of code here, this is how all the buildings are generated. It's actually separate from the game, and then the game receives the blueprint of all the buildings. So in the building generator sandbox, the large shop needs to have a path into the section of the shop with, or the shop behind the countertop. I've been calling it countertop before, so I'm going to keep calling it that. Let's add the generation of a door on either the west wall or east wall that is one tile coordinate higher than the countertop. vertical position. This will allow the NPC to access the back area of the shop. And yes, the AI does understand that kind of context, and those kinds of that kind of context helps it get the idea and write the correct code. So I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna get the one door first to make sure it works, and then basically, if it always puts the door to the back side of the shop correctly, then I'm gonna ask it to just always put a door 2 tiles down from there as well. So one step at a time. Okay, oh, it had never actually printed out the last thing, which, did it fix? It did not. It did not fix it, did it? No, it still printed out the beginning of the file outside the window. Of course, adding maximum value. No, okay, that was the first one. And then, thank you for the I understand for providing a clean single block is used. I'll show all future code follows this format, and then you just don't do it. So, whatever. I think down below, though, it at least... No, it's still... I don't know why it does that sometimes. It's really strange. But I'm not going to stress about it. Okay, excellent suggestion. See, here it goes. Starting the beginning of the code outside of the window. Okay, so shop generator. Yeah, so generators... no. Where is it? It's in... Huh. Oh, building types. There it is. Okay, yeah. I should look at the full path. So shop generator. Copy and paste the first section of the code. Then let's come down here and do the rest of it. Sort of. All right. Like I said, I'm going to try not to whine about this too much because it's writing so much code for me so fast. Like, oh, like boo-hoo, poor me. I need to go to the building. Oops. Building generator sandbox. Because I need to run it. What did I spell wrong? There it is. Okay, now let's run that. And I can test out the buildings directly. Okay, so let's go to the shop and let's go to large. Hey, look, there's a door. Okay, so now I can generate over and over again. All right. All right, perfect. That was perfect. Now, on the same side of the building, I would like a second door that is... I'll just make it simple. 2 tiles below the side door that was just created to minimize the walking distance for the shopkeeper. Alright, let's see. Oh, I had some typos in there. I usually try to minimize typos. I'm getting a little impatient. Alright. So let's copy the beginning here. So we're still shop generator. And scroll on down, get the rest of it. Okay. Now let's see. Uh-oh. That's probably because maybe I don't need that. Nope, I do. Wait, did I do the right kind of bracket? No, that's why. Okay. Okay, shop. Large. Shop, 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 shop. Okay. This'll do for now. Later on, I'm going to want maybe a little bit more elegant of a solution. But it's all good. I might just have like a back door and then also just have the shopkeeper stop going around to the front. I just don't really care about the pathfinding, having them going around the counter right now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe instead of letting them run around to the front. Nah, I don't care. I want to move on. So I think that the task for tonight, and I don't know how deep down this like major rabbit hole I want to go. The task for tonight is to finally create like some sort of a simple inventory system. So I think it's just going to be items that I can more or less just buy and sell. So I think I'll just have Gemini create a bunch of just basic items like swords and armor and potions, and create some sort of infrastructure in the code to hold these items, to take a list of these items, and allow it to begin some sort of a procedural generation type of system that I can tweak, and then I'll give my player just some money, and then there'll be some prices, and I can adjust the prices as well in the future. I want to be able to buy and sell items, and I want those items to be in my player's inventory. So I want an inventory both for the shopkeepers and for me. I think that'll really unlock some abilities for me to play around with gameplay mechanics. So I'm going to try my best not to overthink this and just get something established. And it's more about having the user interface more than anything. And it's going to be a simple user interface. There's not going to be any design to it. It's just going to be a menu-based system with a list of items, maybe the number of items in there. So let's first, I want to commit. So, because that was a good, let's see here, because I think, is that 3 M's? That is 3 M's. So what did I do? I think I only added the door. Did I only add the door? I haven't tested the door, though, that it works in the main game. Before I commit, let me just make sure it actually works. Pretty confident. This would be a good test. I've never adjusted something in the building generator sandbox and then tried to use it in the main game right away. Let's just double check. Of course, this is going to be a little bit of a roll of the dice because it's procedurally generated. So let's see. Oh, there's a shop. You can go in through the back door. Great. That's it. That's all I needed. Now, I shouldn't be able to go in through these doors, but we'll worry about security protocols later. And then, so that means that there should be nobody who wasn't able to find a path. Yeah. Cool. Wait, where's everybody? Why did everybody go backwards? That was weird. Wait. Is the coordinate of the characters in the game based on the window's position? Huh. Interesting. Not exactly sure that's how I want this to behave, but oh, I think I know what it is. So I think the code behind the scenes is still running forward in time. But then the visuals have to like catch up or vice versa. So they're going back to their interesting. Okay, I think I understand what's going on. Again, something I'm not too concerned with right now. It's okay. Boy, should I really just make it where the shopkeepers like stay behind the counters? I feel like it'd make me feel better, but I also think that the logic of expressing where behind the counter is. I mean, behind the counter is between the counter and the closest wall, sort of. That's a tricky one. That is a tricky one to describe. Yeah, I'm not going to tackle that tonight. That's one of those simple concepts that actually probably difficult to get to work. Yeah, and then just for fun, I want to put everybody to sleep one more time just to verify that this works well. I don't see anybody just standing around nowhere. And it looks like pretty much all the homes are over here. Okay. Looks like one person lives alone, even though they have a big bed again. I tell you, I'm excited to get to the point where I start giving this world some character. Oh no, he has a housemate. All right, so everybody's home. Everybody who has a big home has a partner. Cool. So eventually, I want to have like wandering adventurers, and then when night mode begins, they book beds at the inn, and you can, as a player, can book beds at the inn if there is an open bed. So you got to get there first. And I plan on having every NPC exist all the time, maybe in kind of an abstract form, but they just kind of have a state. And then I think the best way to do it is, like, if there's a pathfinding that has been established, well, I guess the pathfinding itself, I've heard that there's kind of like a flow concept that you can use for, I think, like Stardew Valley has a flow algorithm. That's just the word I remember. It won't be hard for me to go look it back up. So that way every single character can like be guided to where they're supposed to be going and doing their stuff. And I may have to use that technique in order to manage my entire world. And I should also go and play some Stardew Valley to gain experience, but I don't want to play too much Stardew Valley so early in my game development, because I don't want to start being influenced and start making Stardew Valley on accident. I want to get my main game established and then go play some of the best games that are similar, that are kind of like genre adjacent to what I'm making. Stardew Valley, I'm not making a game that's like Stardew Valley, but there are a lot of adjacent characteristics. All right, so let me do the commit. Let's see. I think the only thing I did was make the back doors for the large shop. Made the back doors for the large shop. All right. Okay. Items. I've been sitting on this one for a little while now. This is a big major upgrade. My first real user interface. So I'm gonna have to describe a lot here. I'm almost tempted. You know, I'm gonna. Since this is so big, I want every token I can get out of this. So I'm going to start my entire process from scratch. Is there a way to just close all tabs? There's got to be a way to close all tabs. Close all. Okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to clean up my whole workspace here. Okay, we're not doing building genre sandbox. yeah, I want Gemini to help me make a decision on how to organize my code. I may need to create a new subdirectory for this particular task. I would like to keep things a little bit consolidated. All right, this is going to be a big one. I want to make a big addition to the current game. I want to make my first UI that is related to inventory for the player and the NPC shopkeepers. First, I would like to talk about best practices for file management. How might we structure the directories to keep the code organized? Okay, so that's one category. So it'll start discussing probably like file names and the directory tree and stuff like that, because that's what I'm hoping for. And it'll give me like a little bit of a tutorial of its plan. And now I'm going to give it a general idea. To start, I would like to be able to press a button, probably the I key, to bring up a menu showing player stats and inventory. So I think I'm going to make it where you'll see the player stats, and maybe there's a main inventory list that's just purely alphabetical, but then I'm going to see if the code, like Gemini can code kind of like a tab system for different categories like weapons, armor, and items, just to start out. For player stats, okay, let's do player stats. For player stats, I want hit points. Let's see. I'm not going to do magic right now, so let's just do hit points, attack, defense, and speed. I like games that start the character with very low numbers. So let's just set every stat to 1 for now. Yeah, I mean, even the hit points, I don't care. Let me have a config file to manage the default stats. Oh, I also want speed and gold, because I want to be able to trade money. and gold. And I'll just it'll set the gold to 1, and I'll change it to a higher number later. Okay, so that's the stats. For inventory, I would like to have the list of items in a tab-like format that I can view the different categories of equipment. The categories are weapons, armor, and items. I would like the inventory window to be divided in half, with the left side showing the stats and the right side showing the equipment. In the config file, let me set the width of the sorry, I said the dimensions. Let's do set the dimensions. I always spell dimensions wrong the first time I try to type it. He set the dimensions of the inventory window, and also the width of the stat section and the, well, and by extension the equipment window, equipment section. All right. Okay, I think that's a good start. I want to give my character some starting items, and then hopefully that'll create code that'll then remember items in the inventory. Let's set up the ability to bring items in and out of the inventory. Ooh, I should be able to drop items and have them stay on the map. Should I do that right now? Yeah, maybe let's not worry about shopping just yet. Let's just get the player inventory working. Okay. I want to be able to drop and equip items. When I equip an item, I want to, do I want to just have an E? Yeah, we'll keep it simple. I want to have a small box to the left of the description of the item that will display the letter E when the item is equipped. For now, I only want to be be able to equip one weapon and one armor. What else? Oh, and dropping. For dropping items, I would like to. I mean, I don't want. Do I guess I do. I want to be press. Yeah, I'll just press the D key. It's. I want to drop the D key because that is also the right movement key when I'm playing the game. I have a feeling that it might try to move the character, so I'll have to create like. That's fine. I'll just create a state. So for dropping us, I would like to press the D key. This means that when in the inventory window, the game should pause, and I should not be able to move the player, which essentially makes the D key available for the drop command instead of the move right command. Just want to be very clear. Since I need to interact with the inventory menu, I would like to set up two ways. I would like to be able to click the items with the mouse cursor to highlight them for interaction, and I would like to be able to use the arrow keys to move a highlight box around the menu to interact with the items as well. Okay. You know, part of me is like, run this through ChatGPT real quick, and I'm going to do that. I have made the foundation of an RPG, and I am making the first UI for the game. I am using AI to help me code, and this is the prompt I drafted for this next feature. Can you let me know if I may have forgotten anything important that a traditional RPG might need to properly fulfill this is this game feature. And then I will paste in my prompt. Let's see. Here is my prompt. Yeah, okay. Let's see what O3 says about my attempt. I have found that it is good to review prompts for AIs with other AIs. Okay, below is a sanity check list of things that most commercial or classic RPGs wrap around an inventory character sheet feature. I've grouped them so you can decide whether any of them belong in your first pass or can wait until later iterations. Where it makes sense, I point out additions you could tuck into the same config file you already plan to create. This is great. Okay, stats panel, hit point, attacks, defense, speed, gold, low starting values, noted good, toggle key, remember and escape or I. Press should also close the window. Okay, yep. Inventory categories, weapon armor items, consider key items now or later, see below. Equipment drop. Oh, I need to tell it that the item is going to be on the ground, and I'm going to give it a little box, like maybe a little black box or something in the tile. Window layout dimensions and a config. Width. Yeah, okay. Keyboard and mouse navigate. Okay. Quick wins to add now. Quantities and stacking. Yeah, almost every RPG supports greater than one potion. Where to declare inventory JSON config. Okay. Weight or slot limits. I'm okay with there just being an infinite capacity at this stage of the game. Maybe a weight. I like games that have weight limits, and then it can hit at your speed. Item rarity. I'm not worried about item rarity. Can I just? I wonder if I can. Okay, this is good. Let's definitely add mention of quantity stacking and setting up that inventory JSON. I want to have weight limits, but not slot limits. I'm not worried about item rarity right now. Let's see, hover or highlight shows full description and stat mods replaces guesswork. Okay, yeah, for the tooltip and description pane, how about we change the prompt where there is a third window that shows the information of the item as it's being highlighted or clicked on by the mouse. And then that'll change the config file where I want to be able to change the widths of all three of those windows in the config file. Or say, not really windows, but the sections inside the inventory window. Confirmation prompt on the drop. Saves new players from deleting key gear. Ah, yes. Yeah, and as far as the drop is concerned, instead of having a confirmation for the drop, I would like to already allow the item to sit on the ground on the tile that the player is occupying. If I drop multiple items, then it will just put the item in the next available adjacent tile. Yeah, let's worry about the player's inventory. I know I mentioned the shopkeepers. Let's get rid of that mention for now and save that for a second prompt that I will brainstorm with you later. Okay, so equipment rules and stats handling. Slots. Today you allow just one weapon and one armor. Consider stubbing an enum now. Weapon, head, body, accessories, even if you only implement 2. Future add-ons won't refactor everything. Okay, I do like the idea of having a weapon, head, body, and accessory stubs as necessary. So let's do that into the prompt as well. And I would like to have a plan for having the stat modifiers based on the equipment. So let's go ahead and set that up for the future as well. I'm a little hesitant to work with dual wielding just yet, but if you can suggest a plan for how the players interface with choosing a left hand or a right hand might work at this very simple proof of concept phase of creating this UI, please give me a suggestion. I'm not worried about gamepad support at this phase. I am also not worried about sound cues yet. I don't know what focus stealing guard is. Opening inventory should capture input focus and pause world update and camera. Okay, as far as the focus stealing guard, please do the best practices for what you were suggesting. And let's go ahead and add the feature for scrolling lists now. And allow me, just for testing purposes, allow me to scroll or select empty squares and scroll down past the initial list to make sure that the scrolling works. Serialization form. Save, load, and persistence. Decide now. JSON, YAML binary. Keep a version field so you can migrate saves. Autosave trigger. I'm not so worried about this yet. Okay, why separate asset items from config? Items are content. Config is tunable settings. Either part clarifies intent. Yeah, I like that. Okay, error handling testing. Unit tests for equip logic, enforce one weapon, drop logic, ensure item removed, capacity freed, stat recomputation after equipment unequip. Interesting. Edge case test. Dropping last copy of quest item should block. No. I'm not worried about that just yet. Equipping while inventory full. Buying when gold equals price. Passes versus gold. That's, yeah, okay. We're getting to that eventually. So don't worry about... Let's not worry about the error handling and testing just yet. And since you don't know what my main code base looks like and what my file tree looks like, but the other AI does, don't suggest a file format yet, but include in the prompt that the other AI should suggest a directory tree. Okay, I'm not worried about accessibility and quality of life yet. Stretch ideas, you can safely postpone. Shortcut bar. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's getting pretty advanced here. Okay, adding an items of type key quest category. No. Okay, so I'm not currently worried about accessibility or the stretch ideas. I want to do a foundational proof of concept draft. So based on these suggestions that you've given me that I have accepted, can you please redraft the new prompt for me to use with the other AI? Okay. So then we will see how this draft looks I'm pretty confident it's going to be good. Okay. Build a proof of concept inventory UI for my top-down RPG. Focus only on the player side interface. No shopkeepers yet. Input output keys. I mean, I might not say no shopkeepers yet, and I don't want to confuse it. Toggle inventory, drop items, navigate, arrow keys, move highlight mouse. Okay. Screen layout. Okay. Stats pane left. Item list pane, detail pane. Yep. Okay. Okay. All three relative widths are driven. Okay. Item equipment rules, stacking, weight limit. Yeah. Equipment slots. Logic. Okay. All right. It's suggesting a config and data files. Setup. Alright, scrolling, empty slot testing. Okay, drop behavior. It spawns on the ground as a ground entity on the player's current tile. If that tile is occupied, placed on the nearest free adjacent tile. No confirmation dialog. I want to add into this like make an art asset that is like a small black square. Maybe it's like 10 by 10 pixels. And remember what that object is. Okay. Okay, wait. New modified source files in the UI inventory. Live sets the directory tree. Shows that this file is lived. Sample JSON or YAML data is illustrated above. I don't know what a YAML is. Been doing JSON the whole time, so I think we'll see. We'll see what Gemini suggests. It knows its style so far, and it will probably work well. Okay, so we're going to paste this new in here, and the fun thing I know I want to check is drop behavior. The dropped item should be visualized by a small black square as a visual, it's probably redundant, visual asset if the player presses the interact key the player can pick the item back up. Make the small black square 10 by 10 pixels centered in the respective tile. All right, I think I'm gonna call this good. I mean, I'm all committed. This is a fresh chat. Let's just see what happens. All right, I am simultaneously excited and scared. This is probably going to be a big run. Hopefully, because I'm expecting to have to like copy and paste between like 10 and 15 files, it's going to give me the code in the window instead of giving me the beginning of the code outside of the copy window. That's just me being petty, but it would be nice. All right, let it scroll down a bit. So, an inventory system is the cornerstone of any RPG. Let's build a robust and scalable proof of concept based on your requirements and existing project structure. I will organize the new components logically. We will create a new UI layer that can be rendered over any game state, pausing the world behind it. Cool. All right, what's new? So, new item entity, an items directory, modifying some files, making new files in the services, a new UI subdirectory, and then an items directory with JSON files, and a new UI config. And oh, there's a configs subdirectory. I don't think I've had that before. All right, I have a feeling this is going to be long. All right, so we're doing configs. Let's see how much I have to. So I don't have a configs folder. So time to make one. So this is off screen. I'm in my directory here. So let's do configs. Are you going to ask me to put the other config files in there? Because I don't mind. Okay, so this is UI configs JSON. Everything's lowercase. It's not being consistent. But I'm just going to follow its lead. All right. And then we got assets, data, items. Okay, so I'm going assets. And now a new folder, data. And then items. And then weapons.json. So in assets, we have data, items. So this is weapons.json. It's just making a couple weapons for me with different stats. Beautiful. Do not mind that at all. Okay, did it end up in the right folder? Yes, it did. All right. Now we have armor.json. What? It didn't click. No. Interesting. Okay. I don't like where it's putting the window. No, that's not where I wanted that. I mean, I'll just do it manually. Okay, I gotta take it, cut and paste. Bear with me. I know I don't have really anything to look at while I'm doing that. All right, now it's in the right spot. Next, consumables.json. So, hey, make it in this folder. There we go. Consumables.json. Yeah, this is going to take a while. Healing potion. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Core items, item data. So where's core? Core is right here. And I don't have an items. So now I need to create that. Okay, now I got items. So item data.cs. Okay, and then core items items.cs. And then inventory.cs. We're not even halfway down the screen. Look at the scroll thing. Wow. Okay, equipment slot.cs. This is crazy. Now, assuming this works, can you imagine how much time this is saving me? And then equipment.cs. Okay, we're still in core items. Okay, now player stats. I don't understand how these are items, but whatever. Okay, core entities, and then item entity. Okay, now services. Item data base.cs. I'm guessing this one, okay, wasn't that big. I was thinking it would be a bit bigger. This is such a big update. This is crazy. Inventory service, also in services. I don't think, no, I don't have that yet. Of course, I don't. Inventory service.cs. Okay, now UI. I don't think I have a UI folder yet. Nope. So let me make that UI. And then UI config. UI config.cs. If this works on the first try, it's just going to be like stupid. I mean, come on. Inventory. Okay, inventory renderer. We're about halfway done. This is so ridiculous. Wow, okay, good. I hope some of these files are going to be long so we can scroll through a little faster. Okay, modified source files. That is probably going to result in a lot more scrolling. So core entities player. Where is, so core entities player. Okay, giving me the whole thing. Yeah, looks like it. Oh, no, you're not. Okay. So we're adding some things here. Where does it start? Okay, all the way to update movement. So do I want to be lazy or want to do this one thing at a time? I'll do this one thing at a time. Okay, we'll replace that. And then we will, I don't want to have the added below and added comments in there. So direction, current direction, boom. Okay, and then player has 3 new pieces. Honestly, I don't know what to refer to these as. Okay, and then update movement. Okay, so everything else remains unchanged. All right, and then world state. That's all the way down here. All right, you giving me the whole thing? I can't tell. Doesn't look like it. So we're going all the way to world state. Okay, so you're adding underneath the player character. Adding that. All right. And then in the world state here, we are adding item database, load items. This could get ugly. This is where I might have errors because I am attempting to just inject code into places by the guidance. Okay, and then a new new method. Alright, I'm just gonna scroll all the way down and just throw it in at the end. Okay. This is scary. Alright, game states town context. My favorite file. If you watched an earlier stream, you'll know that I recently refactored that to make it a little bit smaller, and it only made it a little bit smaller. Okay, here's game states, town context, still 360 lines long. Alright, looks like we're doing this one manually as well. So we're adding, oh, no, don't do that. Core items. Okay. And then we are going to the town context class, existing properties, and we're adding read-only inventory services. Okay, so just, yeah, okay, we'll just add that at the bottom. Okay, now in my town context needs this. Will that get rid of that warning? Yep. Okay. I think I forgot to save my last file. World states. Did I save it? I did save it. Okay. All right. And then what else? Okay, remains unchanged. Modified. So in is move valid. Should probably. Okay. Nope. There it is. So. Is item occupied? Let's see. So you want me to be just before the return and after all this. Okay. Easy enough. Let me start saving just to be careful here. Okay, and then handle interaction. We are adding try pickup. Oh, this is a whole if statement. Okay, so handle interaction if is showing return, and then okay, so basically, I'm being a little overzealous. We're doing that. Am I correct? Okay, this is probably a new method that hasn't been added. Yeah, try pickup item. So add that try pickup item method, and then that should be all for that. Oh, and game.cs has something. Okay, so I'm just going to throw it right there. And now that warning's gone. Okay. All right, we're done with town context. Game.cs. How much of this are you giving me? Where are you? Yeah, you're down here. Okay. Oh, it's not giving me the entire file, so I gotta do this process again. This is a big file. Okay, but it should hopefully be the last one. Let's just take it. Okay, stop. Okay. All right. Let's get this done. Please work. This was a lot of updating. Okay, so there's now an inventory. I think I could just type that in. A little risky, but okay. All right. Okay, none of these exist yet. And then, so now in game, that's probably where I'm adding them in. So, item entity. So after the outline thickness, okay. Alright, what's next? Change this initial. Okay, so add Add below and add. All right, so let's go ahead and highlight first. And this is after dungeon context. So where am I? I am in game. No, see, I'm getting lost. So I'm in initialize game essential and load story. And then I am after the dungeon context. And then I am pasting all this new stuff in here. Validator pass the inventory control depends on the current game mode. We'll pass the town context validator's inventory is most likely used there. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay. And then one key pressed, or on key pressed, that's what I should call it. We are modifying this. Where is this? This is where things get a little tricky. This isn't a very big method. I almost want to just... So this is e.code, keyword escape. Okay, so I'm adding... Okay, I see what I'm adding. So this inside, right here. Want to make it pretty. Okay, so then the E code, these two if statements. So E code, so to F1. Okay, so I'm adding after this. All right. Whew. This is stressful. This is requiring some focus here. Okay, update. So added pause game if inventory is opened, and that's after the world state. Okay, so it's right after this. Okay. Update player movement. No, down here. Added block movement if inventory is open. Alright, so right at the beginning of this. And then, yep, okay. Alright. And then render. Where is this? This is after the switch and before the if player render. Okay, so boy, I asked a lot. I asked a lot of Gemini. This is going to be nuts. I'm seeing very few errors so far. I'm seeing one on like item database, and like that's it. It'd be amazing if when I get to the bottom, here I am, I'm at the bottom. So will this clear that last error? We will find out. So just before window display, so this existing UI rendering logic. Okay, we got a switch. We got an if. So now we're doing. This one's a little confusing, but I think it's just this. And then that would be it. Okay, there is an error right here. The only thing I can think of is, so all of these green ones are all new. They should have basically more or less auto-saved. But let me just double check. I'm pretty confident that when you create a new file, it just auto-saves anyway. Okay, so item database. This guy, what is this? could not be found. Okay. And then should be good, should be good. Alright, so these modified ones. Let me make sure I actually click the save button. Oh, well, I would get the errors even if I press save. So, alright, let's just get our error message and then feed it to Gemini. Okay. Yep, same as what was written there. I got this error message. One error. I am shocked that I am getting away with only one error with that amount of updating. But a lot of it was like new files, so you're absolutely right. My apologies. I missed a using directive. Okay, so services, item database. Are you just giving me the whole file? Okay, good. And that's it. All right, what is this gonna be like? I mean, this is a moment of truth right here. Adding a big feature like this. Surely there's no way this is gonna work. I'm gonna go into the town to do this number. All right, inventory. Wow. Okay, well, I don't seem to have anything in my inventory. I thought I was starting with something. Oh, it's not it's not scrolling. Oh, okay. Well, I don't have it. Oh, well, you know what? I never told it to start with an item, right? Can we start with one of the items that was created already in my inventory? That's already really good, though. So I have hit points attack. I have 100 gold. My weight. I like this. So if I'm going to have a weight, then I should probably have a strength stat. And yeah, it'll grow over time. I'm going to be trying to integrate all kinds of elements from some of my favorite RPGs. Like a little bit of Elder Scroll and things like that. We'll modify the world state constructor. If the player object is created and the item database is loaded, we will directly place an iron sword in the player's equipment slot. This ensures they begin the game. The sword equipped is a stats bonus applied. Okay. I mean, I don't want it to be like a permanent thing. Could maybe just be like a config file kind of thing. All right. Let me go ahead and take its suggestion. Also, I don't really feel like this is a world state. Like, I think I need to refactor this file and be like, hey, I need to go do a tour. I think one day I'm just gonna sit one afternoon and just kind of like rearrange, like study these files and be like, can we? Yeah, like there's some legacy stuff in here that I feel like needs to be refactored out into more specialized files. Okay, what do you want me to add? So you want me to add... It's okay, I'd rather get the information into the files and rearrange them later. I have high confidence in the AI's ability to help me with that. Okay, equip starting item. Yes, I just don't really like that the equip starting item is like in such a general file like this. World state. Like, no, come on. Really? I mean, this should be like a player state file. So, I'm not going to fight it right now. Let's just get this to work. Okay. Okay, that was it. All right, so no big deal. And then at least I have one item that I can troubleshoot with, and then I'll start making the store UIs and populating the store with procedurally generated weapons or items or whatever. Okay, so inventory. I don't see an item. You lie. Okay, this is the kind of thing I was worried about. So. Okay, wait, hold on. So, did we successfully create inventory categories? All right. Give me a tutorial on how to navigate the inventory window. I cannot find the initial item, so I'm unsure if, oh man, I'm all thumbs, if I'm using the UI correctly. Let's see how well that works. While that's processing, I'll be right back. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, that's an excellent question. Wait, hold on. Having noise issues here. Wires are rubbing. Okay. You've asked an excellent question. Doing so, you've uncovered a subtle but important bug in my previous implementation. You're likely using the UI correctly, but the code I provided not displaying the equipped items in the main list. Okay. Cool. So in UI, inventory controller. Okay, looks to me like you're giving me the entire code. So I'll just paste that in. And then, okay, here's the tutorial. So press I to open the window, press I again, or escape to close the window. Up, down, arrow keys. All right, well, maybe I don't need the tutorial, but at least it's there. Oh, enter key equips and unequips. Yeah, I'm still not seeing the item. Wonder why. Is anything said? I still don't see the item. Should we add some debug statements regarding the inventory so you can see the behavior? Yeah. Sometimes me just saying, I don't see the item isn't good enough. It needs to like check the state of the code. Don't make me go get Daddy GPT. in here. It's gonna start worrying me a little bit if I think I might be finding the boundaries of Gemini 2.5. It's been going really well, and it still goes really well. And if I have to start writing a bit of code on my own, or what, I mean, I'm not too worried about this. I don't think I'm gonna hit a wall on this vibe coding experiment just yet. But okay, so it's gonna do a console right on world state. Oh, world state's such a huge file. So, oh, okay. So there's a debug in the world state, not the class, but here. Okay. So, is it just at the end, or it's inside? It's inside this if. Sword data. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Player equipped player with starting iron sword. No, you didn't. Oh yeah, this is a little bit more robust of a debug statement. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Oh, okay, and then there's an else. Alright, I don't mind that one. And then inventory controller. Oh, you're just going to give me the whole code for this? It's not that long. Yeah. No, you're not. But get item at index. Okay. Okay, well, let's just do get categorized items. Okay. And then we'll work our way up, and then toggle. I can do that one manually. It's just one line inside the if statement. And then add system. Okay. Is that it? Nope. Inventory renderer. Okay, nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, render item list pane. Yeah, it's actually quite a lot. Okay, until float item height. Render item list pane. Oh, that's a big addition of code there to the beginning of that method. Okay. And then... Okay, so what to look for in the console. After you run the game and press I, you should see a block of output in your console similar to this. Please share the output. Alright, will do. Sounds like fun. Okay, I. Oh, can we not have it loop indefinitely? Like, sure would be nice. Okay, so first of all, the looping. It loops very quickly and doesn't stop. Can we have it print just once per opening of the inventory? Here's what I got this run. Okay. Yeah, I'm not confident I know when this starts. Like, how big is the loop? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's go with found 0 items. There we go. So I think it's just that repeating over and over again. I think it'll, yeah, it'll get the idea. Okay. And my gut's telling me that we're getting closer to getting this foundational test working. Okay, what do we got? You're right about the looping debug settings. That's not helpful. I'll fix that. But more importantly, your log shows the core problem. Yeah, there's nothing there. This tells us that by the time you open the inventory, the player object that the UI is looking at has nothing. The iron sword we tried to give the player at the start of the game is missing. The problem isn't the UI code itself, but the game's startup logic. Let's do 2 things. Make the debug logs print only once, and add more detailed logs to the game's startup sequence. Okay. This might be a little involved, but hopefully not too much. I do not like this world state. Alright. Okay, modify debug section for the world state. Alright, let's just get this in here this way. So current global story beat. Yeah, I don't like it that's mixed in with the story aspects of this. Just too many different things sharing the same space. Okay, and then inventory controller. Oh, wait. Do I have that? Inventory controller. That's new. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if I missed that on one of the... No, because that was a new file. So... And then this is in toggle. Okay, and then get categorized items. Okay, and then... Okay, inventory renderer. Oh, I hope that I can get this working tonight. I am getting tired, so I don't think I'll be able to handle doing this more than another 20 minutes. Oops, I forgot to save. Glad I caught that. Alright, and render item list pane. Okay. Moved statements. Alright, that looks like that's it. The whole thing seems smaller. Kind of scared. Oh, debug logs removed from here, so okay, yes. Okay. Alright, come on. Inventory. No. See. Come on. Why would I expect anything? Okay, well at least we're only printing once. Maybe it's helpful to give the whole thing. This is my terminal output. Don't make me get ChatGPT in here. I'm telling you. I bet Claude would also be good. It's just that I do have a plus subscription for ChatGPT, so I'm just a little bit more apt to use it, and it's been working. So excellent. The log is perfect. Tells exactly the problem. Is not a large area the code I've been looking at. Root cause is revealed. Ah, in a single line. Interesting. Okay. All right. Oh, you didn't. Yeah. How did I think of that? You didn't change the project file at all with all this new stuff. Okay. All right, and then what? Removing the debug logs. Why are we removing the debug logs? Because you're so confident that yeah, no, we're not playing that game. Hold on a second. You hold your horses there, Gemini. Just remove the debug. It's gonna work. Fine, fine. Your confidence was very much justified, but still, oh that is good. Can I equip? No, I can unequip. But I can't equip the other sword. Okay. Oh. Oh, looks like it's... Okay. Small issues. Okay, can I drop? No. Oh, okay. So I can't drop the main... Ooh, I dropped all 5 potions. Are they on the screen? Yeah, okay. Can I interact? I forgot to tell it that I wanted to press spacebar to pick up items. That was a major milestone. I am super happy with that. Okay, look at that. We have a basic inventory screen. I mean, I'm not asking for much more than this as it stands. And look at that. It changes the attack. It adds to the weight. Well, it shouldn't add to the weight because only if I'm equipped. All minor bugs. This this is a big deal. What? I mean, in less than 2 hours. I mean, the stream is not even 2 hours long, and I fixed. Well, we made this inventory. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how long it has taken people in the past? This is insane. This is just an insane experiment. Okay, I'm gonna consider that a win for the night. And then I'm gonna do the shop tomorrow. And I'm going to start creating procedurally generated items, weapons, and I'm going to create like a scaling like algorithm that weapons that are allowed to have an armor allowed to have certain types of stats, and then there will be a point pool that then those points will dictate the value of that weapon or that armor, and then it'll randomly put the point pool into the various stats. And so every single time you play the game, you're just going to have new unique weapons to choose from and new unique armor. And it's just based off of the fact that everybody builds things a little bit differently. I'm trying to remember what game I played. I think it was maybe like the old Diablo was one of the first or only games, or like Baldur's Gate might have done this, where it had randomly generated items. I'll have to do a little research on that to remember which games I played where the items were procedurally generated, and it really made the game very interesting to me. And I don't really see that anymore, where the items can just be more or less random with some rhyme or reason to them and their prices and things like that. And I want that again. I want that in my game. I remember loving that feature. So I'm gonna consider that a win. I'm gonna call that a notch on the belt, quite an accomplishment. I'm going to commit this and and then sleep on like what it is I'm going to add tomorrow, which I'm almost certainly is going to be the inventories in the shops. So uh, if you enjoyed this, I mean, thanks for watching. And as always, like, my name's Justin. This is AI for the Masses. Stay with me if you want to see the growth of this game and a story of someone. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.